All right, so let's talk about this fight that just happened. Fight night 167. It was Corey Anderson versus Jan Bakovic. So two fights that really stood out to me. Obviously, the main event and then the co-main event. So Diego Sanchez, right? He's super interesting to me, but I want you guys to let me know in the comments what you think about this whole, getting this win, right? With the illegal knee, right? Okay, so in the end of the day, it's the Michelle guy's fault for obviously striking him while he's down. Like, dude, do you not know the rules of this sport? You're not supposed to do that. So obviously, he should be upset at himself. He shouldn't be upset at Diego. Like, you know, with that being said, Diego, I feel like he's acting as if he actually won the fight, and he did not win that fight. There's no doubt about it. He lost that fight. He was losing miserably. A lot of people are making fun of him that he was doing a lot of like force field energy, and he's super spiritual. I love his mindset. He's super interesting to me with his like anti-aging and his school of awareness. I think it's all really cool and interesting and fun. Now, in terms of fans, right, we want to see the fighters fight. So for him to kind of just ask the ref, like, well, if I do this, what will happen? Listen, if I was in his shoes, would I have done the same thing? I mean, I don't know. Like, he gets extra money, right? But this actually makes me think about Anthony Lionheart Smith, right? Versus John Jones, right? Okay, so when he was fighting him, he got an illegal knee, right? And John Jones was like praying, "Oh, please, please don't take it," because he was in a situation where he could have went home. That was for a title, all right? And he had the balls to just be like, "Hey, like I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm not gonna take it, right? Because it's like whatever." He could have taken it. He could have taken the win, right? He could have. Would have the UFC community like literally like teared him a new asshole? For sure. He would have been like literally like, yeah, it would have been not good for this guy. He wouldn't have been considered a real champion. A lot of things online would happen to him and comments and make fun of him. Cop out this. I think it's part of like the community of like, like you have to continue fighting no matter what. And listen, I don't think Diego Sanchez was really like unable to continue. He looked like he was able to continue. Obviously, that was a huge cut, and I think the doctor could have stopped it fairly, but the doctor didn't stop it. So, I'm kind of torn because a part of me is like, what would I do? And then I'm thinking, well, what do the fans want? The fans want the fighters to continue to fight, right? And in the past, you've seen, Lionheart, for instance, he's taken the higher road. He's taken, he didn't take the win, even though he could have technically. And I think he was really praised for that. It looked to be like, oh, well, this guy's, like this guy's doing the right thing from what everyone said. So he could have went down in history. He could have got a lot of extra money, I believe, for sure. If you win the fight, you win more. So, depending on the fight. But yeah, it's super interesting. I want you guys to let me know in the comments because a lot of people are saying, Diego Sanchez, he did the right thing. It was a wise move. It was a veteran move. It's really interesting because I've talked to like a few people about this, and some people say, well, he's a pussy, he's a chicken. He knew he was losing that fight, and then he put his arm up like, oh, I won. Like, dude, you were not winning. So a part of me feels like maybe he could have just, said, let's do a rematch. Obviously, I wasn't winning. Let's just do a no contest. I don't know if he has the control over that, but like he could have just said, like there was another DQ in the card, which I forget the fighter's name, but like the guy was like shaking his head when the guy was Joe Martinez was saying he's the winner. He was like, nah, it wasn't a real win. So like Diego Sanchez could have went that route and still taken the win, but kind of, verbalized like this is not really a win. But I think he's trying to play it off like as it is a win. So All right, so let's talk about Jan Bakovic. Hope I'm saying his name right. It's a difficult name to say. My gosh. I really like him. I think he's exciting. I think this is gonna be a good fight. It's fresh meat, you know. To be honest with you, as much as Dominic Reyes deserves this fight, and he did all the right things technically, me as a fan, I'm sorry. I'll be honest. Dominic Reyes isn't interesting. He's a snoozer. He's a bore. I don't like his personality. Like, I'll say it. I'll say it right now. I don't think he's interesting. To me, to see him replace John Jones as a champ, ew, I think that's like horrible. John Jones is so charismatic, like the way that he talks, the way that he is in press conferences. Listen, Dominic Reyes had a perfect opportunity to literally play the mental game with John Jones in the press conference and win. But instead he didn't win because his responses were garbage. So for instance, like when John Jones was saying, "You tickle my pickle, I can't wait to get my hands on you." This is hilarious stuff. He could have replied with something really, really slick and clever and funny, and had the fans, you know, like him and show a little bit of his quirky side of his personality. All he said was pause. I mean, this guy, I don't know, he's a great fighter and all. I don't have nothing against him, but he's a snoozer. I don't want to, listen, if John Jones was fighting a nobody, I would pay for that card. I would want to watch it. If Dominic Reyes was fighting nobody, I don't want to see Dominic Reyes fight. All right? As much as he's a good fighter, I don't know, like I want to have a fighter. I want to be behind them with their personality, with like everything that they're about. Even if I don't agree with them, right? Like I still want to watch them. You know, love him, hate him, I still want to watch him. And like for me, Dominic Reyes is just a snoozer. So let me know in the comments what you think about all this. Thanks, bye.